So today I want to sit down and go through the new Honkai Star Rail roadmap that's been shaping up lately. We're looking at 3.7, then a full 3.8 with its own headliner, and only after that do we roll into the 4.0 cycle, which in itself seems stacked with SP reworks, a new path, and anniversary content not long after. So let's break it down step by step, talk about what we actually know, what still feels up in the air, and what this means for your Stellar Jade planning. Saridra and Silverwolf's banners are finally here, and you can save up to 25% on these banners at lootbar.gg. Here, I can buy 3,280 Wuneric shards for $40, while it costs $50 in-game. I just enter my UID and select a server. I received the shards right away on my account. Besides Honkai, you can also top up in Genshin. Loot Bar has over 100,000 satisfied users and also supports PS5 and Xbox top-ups. I regularly use Loot Bar for my giveaways, so I can personally recommend it. Use my link in the description for an additional 10% discount. Starting with 3.7, all signs point to Sirene being the star of the show. If you've been following the Amphorius arc and the whole Chrysos Heir setup, you already know she isn't just another banner character. She's clearly being positioned as the centerpiece of the story and the patch. The latest leaks have given us some really interesting clarifications about her kit. The big headline is the Memo Sprite twist. Early chatter described her as summoning a spectral stingray companion, but the new Q&A leak flipped that on its head. Instead of calling a separate summon, Sirene herself is the Memo Sprite. That might sound like a small flavor change, but it completely changes how people see her. It gives her this, fine, I'll do it myself vibe, and it really cements her identity as a Chrysos heir. Some people in the community were disappointed because they wanted a flashy, divine beast floating next to her. But others think it's actually cooler this way because it keeps the focus on her character rather than a pet. That's not the only thing. Sirene is confirmed to be a bow user, which instantly set off comparisons to Alicia from Honkai Impact 3. Now, of course, in Star Rail, weapon types are symbolic, not actual gameplay mechanics like in Genshin, but it still matters thematically. Bow characters carry this elegant, ethereal archetype, and when you look at Sirene's drip marketing art, the posture, the grace, the soft color palette, it really does feel like an homage. But unlike Alicia, who was pure DPS, Sirene is shaping up as a support, probably leaning into Remembrance, and that's where things get spicy. For weeks, people argued whether she'd be a universal Sparkle 2.0 style buffer or locked down only to her heir companions. The reality looks like something in between. She's a hybrid, technically usable in any team, but her best numbers come when she's paired with Evernight March, Castorial, and Hysolins. That's the classic Hoyoverse synergy bait. Release one great unit, and then drop the partner who makes them unstoppable. If you've invested in March's SP form from 3.6, Sirene is looking more and more like the missing puzzle piece who takes that team from strong to ridiculous. And it makes sense that Hoyoverse is positioning her this way, because she's not just mechanically important, she's narratively critical, carrying the divine flames of the Titans and pushing the Amphorius story to its climax. Now, one controversial point is her territory. Originally, leaks suggested she'd have her own unique territory, like Castorial's Dragon Realm or Hysolin's Hellscape. But according to the Q&A, while those materials existed in development, the territory was scrapped. And honestly, I think that's the right call. Territories are gorgeous, but they create anti-synergy. Two territories can't coexist on the field, which would mean Sirene couldn't play with Castorial or Hysolins. From a business perspective and a gameplay perspective, removing it was smart. Sure, it would have looked beautiful, but now she'll fit more cleanly into air comps without jank. So, where does that leave you if you're deciding whether to pull? Well, if you're running Remembrance or have already invested in the heirs, she's almost a must. She brings DEF reduction, resistance penetration, energy regeneration, and true damage scaling layered in a way that will make those comps absurdly strong. If you don't have those characters, she's less of a must-pull, but the hybrid design means she won't be wasted. That makes her a safer investment overall, and I'd expect her to be one of the main talking points once beta footage starts circulating. Just when people thought 3.7 would be the final chapter of the 3.x cycle, Hoyoverse dropped the curveball. 3.8 exists, and this isn't just a filler rerun patch, it's officially tied to something called the Finality Mission, subtitled Memories Are the Prelude to Dreams. That name alone screams narrative climax. The mission is meant to revisit Penacony and tie up a ton of dangling threads: the masked fools, IPC politics, Stellaron Hunter subplots, even the Inheritance War. Trying to squeeze all of that into 3.7 would have been rushed, so pushing it to 3.8 makes sense. And who's the rumored headliner? Constance, also known as Dahlia, the daughter of Duke Inferno. She's already appeared in Black Swan's memory dive, teasing major secrets around Aaron. Multiple credible leakers are pointing toward her leading one of the 3.8 phases, and she fits perfectly as the narrative anchor. Her ties to the Everflame Mansion and Penacony's faction conflicts make her the exact kind of character you'd use to close out the arc. Early speculation painted her as a fire destruction unit, but newer leaks now lean toward fire nihility. If that holds true, we're talking about a debuff-oriented playstyle rather than brute force. And with the way Hoyoverse has been elevating nihility units like Black Swan, it would make a lot of sense to give Constance that niche. The community's reading this as more than just another banner. If Sirene is the gameplay centerpiece of 3.7, Constance is the lore centerpiece of 3.8. Skipping her might feel like skipping the true ending of Penacony's story. And if her kit really does land in Fire Nihility, she'll probably have DOT synergies and strong debuff mechanics that make her useful outside of pure lore hype. All of this sets the stage for 4.0, which is where things really start to explode. The new region, Idedo Star, has been teased for a while now. It's described as a cyberpunk Japanese world, full of neon lights, yokai-style myth, and spiritual technology. Lore leaks connect it to Aha, the Aeon of Elation, and possibly Mythos, a lesser-known Aeon tied to the mysterious path of Enigmata. This makes Idedo Star the perfect thematic home for characters who bend the rules, who embody chaos, spectacle, and alternate realities. And that brings us to the rise of SP versions. We already saw the beginning with March's Evernight form and Dan Heng's Permansortere, but leaks suggest 4.x is when SPs become a real trend. The biggest name here is SP Sparkle. She's reportedly debuting in 4.0, reimagined from her quantum harmony-based origins into a fiery, glamorous Path of Elation unit. Her new lore paints her as a kind of online streamer persona, which fits the over-the-top chaotic energy of Elation perfectly. On top of that, she's being tested alongside Yai Sakura, who is rumored to be part of the Elation roster as well. Yai Sakura's debut is actually tied to version 4.2, the anniversary patch, and that makes sense historically. Hoyoverse always likes to drop something massive for anniversaries. In 2.1 and 3.2, we got free Stellar Jade, event passes, farming boosts, and even free limited 5-stars like Ruin May and Luocha. If 4.2 really is her grand entrance, expect it to come with anniversary tier rewards, a night parade of 100 demons theme, and a whole new archetype in the form of Elation teams. But the SP leaks don't stop with Sparkle. There are heavy hints of SP Sampo as well. His Chinese voice actor openly said he saved 800 pulls, and his English voice actor teased a new project under NDA. Add that to whispers of him becoming an emanator of Aha, and it lines up almost too well. Sampo with cosmic-level elation power sounds both hilarious and terrifying. Exactly the kind of chaos that defines Edito Star. Even Blade is rumored to be getting a redesign, updated to better match the new region's aesthetics, just like Dan Heng's SP form was adjusted during development. So where does that leave us? If you zoom out, the roadmap from 3.7 through 4.2 looks like a carefully staged escalation. 3.7 gives us Sirene, the hybrid support that elevates the airs. 3.8 drops Constance, tying the Penacony arc into a finale with fire nihility flavor. 4.0 opens Ideto Star and launches SP Sparkle, with SP Sampo and others on the horizon. And 4.2, the anniversary patch, is shaping up to be one of the most stacked in the game's history, with Yai Sakura, a new path, and anniversary freebies. For me, the interesting part is how this roadmap isn't just about individual characters. It's about trends. SPs are no longer just experiments. They're looking like the backbone of the game going forward. Lore characters who might have been locked to cameos before are being reimagined into playable forms. Synergy is being designed across patches, with Sirene and March as one duo, and then Constance delivering narrative payoff, and then 4.0, starting a whole new chaos-driven cycle. It's classic Hoyoverse, really. They drain your stellar jade over time, but in a way that makes you feel like you're missing out on entire arcs if you skip. So, what do you think? That's everything we know so far about the roadmap from 3.7 into 4.0 and beyond. If you found this breakdown helpful and you want to stay up to date on the next wave of leaks, beta updates, and anniversary news, make sure to subscribe. I'll keep connecting the dots so you can plan smart and avoid those painful "oops, I'm broke" moments when the banners drop. Save up to 25% on the current banners at lootbar.gg. All you need is your UID and server. The link is in the description.